Hello everybody, it's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter and welcome to my weekly episode. It is episode number 296 for January 28th, 2025, and yesterday was Walter's birthday, as you probably know if you've been tuned in to the last few videos that I have made, and we went out for dinner last night to the Keg, which is a Canadian place. I think there might be a couple in the States, but it is a Canadian restaurant. It's a steakhouse, and we had a really good time, but oh my goodness, it's been a while since we've been there, and boy, have the prices gone up. But still, it was a really nice meal, and yeah, so that's what we did for Walter's birthday, and I think he was happy with that. So, moving right along to what I have to show you this week. Okay, the Quilt of Valor is all done. It is all quilted. It is all bound. It is all ready to go to the Quilts of Valor. I'm not sure when I'll get it to them. I have been toying with the idea when maybe the weather gets a little nicer of going down for one of their sew days and taking it then. We'll have to see. But I'm happy with it. This, as you may or may not remember, when we went for a sew day, special sew day they had in the early fall that we had been invited to because that was the day they were doing some presentations of Quilts of Valor to vets. And one of mine that I had donated was being given that day as well. And so we did some sewing while we were there, and they had these kits made up. And their goal was to get as many tops done during that time. And they had these all pre-cut, very simple, just squares and rectangles. And you could lay them out in whatever fashion you wished. So we picked, of course, the ones that were done in the blue-grays. And although those are really, in my mind, not the colors of a Quilt of Valor quilt, at least a Canadian one, I think a Canadian one should have some red and white in it. But nevertheless, we put this together, but we didn't get it quite finished while we're at the sew day. So we brought it home, finished it, and I finally got it on Lucy and got it quilted. I said my quilting pattern, which is probably difficult to see in this picture, but is basically maple leaves and swirls. And I've used this pattern before on Quilts of Valor. I quite like it. And I did add borders to it as well from some of the fabrics in my stash. And because I thought this was kind of plain, I spruced it up a little bit by adding some machine appliqued maple leaves in the four corners of the quilt and in the center of the quilt as well. They do show up better when you see it in real life. The camera did not pick them up all that well, but I made those little blocks so that they would fit in, and I did them on the embroidery machine, and I just think it adds a bit more of a Canadian element to it. The same with the borders that I put around it, the inner and the outer border. Those were for my stash of fabrics, and they are maple leaf. So yeah, I tried to make this quilt a little bit more Canadian theme based than just having, you know, blue and dark blue and gray little squares and rectangles. So that's done. That's good. I do have another project out on Lucy that I got to get to, and that's that one from the Missouri Star quilt that came in the Advent box. And I've shown it before. I finished the top up when we were at Dahlonega at Stephanie's retreat, but now it just needs to be quilted. I got to get on with that. Okay, so that was one project. Now this cute little guy, he is an In the Hoop applique project for Valentine's Day. He was on sale, 50% off on, I think it was Designs by Juju. And, well, you know, he's a gnome. I had to do him. So I did. I'm really happy with the way he turned out. He hangs now here in my sewing room. And even though he's sort of Valentine's themed, he will stay there all year round. And I decided that I would do a whole video tutorial on how to do this type of thing on your embroidery machine. So that will be coming out on Sew Chatty in about 2 weeks' time. This week on Sew Chatty, we'll be finishing up the Kindred creatures wall hanging that both Walter and I are making. I've got mine all sewn together, as you can see in this picture off to the side hanging there, but Walter hasn't got his sewn together yet. But this week coming up, we have, or no, you've already seen the finishing, the sewing up together, and then we're going to talk this week on So Chatty about finishing it, putting the backing on, whether or not you should do any more quilting on it, all that kind of thing. So you'll see that on So Chatty this week, and then the week after that will probably be the Gnome Valentine and wall hanging, and then we will, hopefully we're going to move into doing some bag making, a series on bag making. So that's to be seen. Haven't got that worked out yet. Got to get on with it. But the other thing that's been taking my attention is my new pattern that you can see here. It's not finished yet. There's more to it. When you do a pattern, if you've never written a pattern, they are not easy to write. Because although you know what you're doing, you have to assume the person reading your pattern does not. So I go through the pattern meticulously to make sure there aren't any errors, that everything is very, very clear. So that takes time. And when I create the patterns, I write them as I go. I find that's the best way, rather than just to put the whole quilt together and then write the instructions later. I find if I write them right at the moment, I catch things that I might not catch. Excuse me. If I just did the whole quilt and then wrote the pattern afterwards. So anyways, I am working on it. I am happy with it so far. I had some difficulty with the corner blocks, the yellow ones. I had them in a different color scheme. And when it came down to the last, I had one block left to make, and I ran out of the fabric that I was using. And I had nothing in my stash that matched. And to be honest, when I looked at it, I thought, that's not a good color choice for this quilt. So I decided, okay, cut my losses, start over, as in terms of those corners. And I like this color combination much better. I think it brightens up the quilt. However, this is not done. There could be changes yet as I work on it. And when I do have it completely finished, which means getting it quilted, binding it the whole bit, and making sure my pattern is foolproof, I hope, I will make the pattern available for any of you. Like my other two patterns, which are always on my Google Drive, and there's always a link in the show notes for those. Well, I will put up a link when I get this done. It's not going to be for a while. Give me another month, maybe longer, maybe shorter. We'll see. And it will be available to anybody who wants it free. I don't charge for my patterns. I just am very happy that people like them enough that they want to do them, spend the time doing them. And I also hope that people will send me pictures of their finished product so I can feature them here on the Idiot Quilter. Okay. I think, yep, that's all I've got to show you on that. So, just some announcements. All right, so this week we have, as usual, on Wednesday, Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, except we will be without Stephanie this week. Yes. I guess I'll find out how many of you really only come for Stephanie or whatnot. But Stephanie's on a cruise with Stitch in Heaven down in the Caribbean. And I saw some pictures on her Facebook page yesterday. It looks like she is having a great time. She took her aunt with her as well. And the two of them look like they're having a wonderful time. Well, if anything, it's warm. And yeah, we could use some warmth right now in spots of North America that don't usually have cold, and snow. And, down south, that kind of thing. So she has escaped that with this cruise. So it'll be great to see any pictures she may take or video she takes while she's on the cruise. I hope she takes some. But when you get wrapped up on a cruise on a vacation, you sometimes forget to, take videos for your YouTube channel. I know that happens to me. So we'll see what happens with Stephanie. So yeah, that's this coming Wednesday, Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, sans Stephanie. And that's at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and the link is in the show notes below. All are welcome. Come and go as you please. Okay, so if you saw my vlog yesterday, you know I have a brand new 3D printer, and it is the mother of the printers. It does everything, and I'm not going to get into that here because I'll save that for my vlog, and next week I'm going to be doing a more thorough review of my new 3D printer. But in the meantime, I was making things on my other 3D printers um, for my sewing room. So I thought I'd just show you. These aren't that exciting, like a bobbin case. Yeah, I needed another one. Now, the thing about this one is that attracted me to it was it's very, very sturdy, and it's stackable the way it's designed. I have another one, but I did that very early in my 3D printing career and even in my sewing career. And it works fine, but this one I like better. It is stackable, but the problem is where I keep it, I can't put another layer on top of it. I slide it underneath my table, my extended table for my sewing machine, and it's just not high enough to put another one on top of it. But that's okay. This is probably enough. Basically, what I do is any spools on your embroidery machine, my embroidery machine anyways, has a bobbin out sensor. And even though I have it set at the lowest amount, there's still sometimes I can have a fair amount of thread left over on it. And actually, if you look at these bobbins, that's how much thread I've had left on them, because that's where all these bobbins come from. I don't throw them out. I keep them and I sew with these. I put them in my domestic machine and use them up. So that's why I've got the bobbin holder like that. That's why it's all in white with it as well. So that's what I do with them. And this little box is going to work really well for that. Now, you've heard me talk about the alpha clips before, and that, I got the stickers for them from GE Design. They were in the Christmas bag from Kawartha Quilting. And at first I poo-pawed them, but then I love them, and I use them now all the time. And you can see I have quite a few, because when we were down at Stephanie's retreat at Christmas time, I picked up a bag of these black ones that have the letters and numbers already embossed on them. The only thing I don't like about them is that the little embossed letter number are not easy to see on them. I tried going over them like with a Sharpie just to, raise them up, and that didn't really work very well. So they are what they are. But I have all my other ones as well, and I especially I've been using those stickers on the larger clips, as you can see up here. And some of these I've handwritten on, but they tell you the measurement. Like, if you've got a bunch of 2.5-inch squares, you stick one of these clips on those and these are 2.5-inch squares or whatever. So I use them all the time. I love them for organizing my fabric pieces after the fabric's been cut. But I needed a way to store them. Now, originally I had a single little tray basket I was clipping them to, but I got a lot more of them. So I decided to print these 3 little boxes, and so they nest inside of each other, sort of like it's a little tower of clips. And so they're all here. They're all laid out in alphabetical and numerical order, so they're easy to use and easy to put away. And bonus, I've got a little place to store extra things inside this box on the top. It's one idea for this kind of thing. I know there's other ideas. I know one of my subscribers, she has a long strip of fabric, kind of like a piece of binding, and she clips them to that and hangs them up, which is a great idea as well. And with that idea, you can see them all at a glance. And if you see one's not there, you can go looking for it or whatever. So, whatever works for you, but this is what's working for me right now. But down the road, who knows? I may change that idea. Yeah, so that's all of those things. And we're back here. So that takes me to subscribers quilt of the week. This comes from Glenna Miller. We've seen some of her lovely creations in the past, and here's another one for you to enjoy. This week's subscriber's quilt comes from Glenna Miller, and she sends this delightful picture of a series of table runners, three of which feature gnomes, and you know how much I love gnomes. And she says, I want to share a photo of some table runners I made. I made 2 sets of these seasonal table runners for my daughters as an extra Christmas gift. There were many little applique pieces on these, but it was fun putting them together. The Valentine's Day and St. Pat's are from Patch Abilities. The Christmas runner is from Around the Bobbin, and the Easter runner wall hanging is from Annie's Quilted Skinnies for all seasons. So yeah, these are absolutely delightful. They're so much fun. And they're great as seasonal pieces, the Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, and Christmas as well. I am sure they really enjoyed these, and I love them. I especially love the one with the gnomes with the red hats. I think actually I made one like that some time ago. I'll have to look in my archives to see. But either way, they're all very, very impressive, and I'm sure well liked by your daughters. Thank you, Glenna, for sharing your lovely creations with us. And as always, if you would like me to feature one of your creations here, just send me a picture of it, one picture please, and a little blurb, 50 words or less, about it, and I'd be happy to feature it here on an episode of the Idiot Quilter. Okay, so that takes me to YouTube of the week, and we all have these devices, rotary cutters, and there is a lot of controversy over what rotary cutter is the best rotary cutter. Well, the answer to that question is actually very simple. The best rotary cutter is the one that you like, that you're comfortable with using. But on the Opinionated Quilter, you've heard me talk about her YouTube channel before. I love her because she's right in your face and upfront about everything. There's no pussyfooting around a topic. And she did recently a video comparing rotary cutter brands. And I found it actually very interesting because I think I have each one of those brands. And I know which one I like the best. But, well, take a look at my review of this video because you may want to check it out in its entirety, especially if you're thinking about buying a new rotary cutter. This week's YouTube video clip comes from someone that I have reviewed before, the Opinionated Quilter. I love her videos because she gives you frank and honest reviews of many products or of techniques or of fabric lines, all those kind of things. In this particular video, she's comparing rotary cutters. And you know, you wouldn't think there's much difference between one rotary cutter to another, but she actually points out that there is, and she gives her honest assessment of which ones she likes and why, and which ones she finds are not quite as good. So if you're in the market for a brand new rotary cutter, you might want to check this out first before you invest in one of those. And this is called Comparing Rotary Cutters, episode 141 by the Opinionated Quilter, and the link is in the show notes. So, what future project do I want to work on? Well, one of my goals, which who knows whether I'll make the goal or not this year, I would like to do some more bag making, a little bit more elaborate bags, move away from tote bags, more into, you know, the bags by Henny and that kind of thing. I have done some in the past. I haven't done any for quite a while. But Adam of Adam Sews, he has come out with his own pattern for something he calls the Thora duffel bag. And I have purchased this pattern, and this is one of the projects that I want to do very soon. Here's what I'm talking about. This week's future project comes from Adam Sews, and I'm sure you're familiar with Adam Sews, and if you're not, you should check out his YouTube channel, which is called Adam Sews, and he is designing patterns for some wonderful creations, and this is one I just purchased recently, and I do want to do very soon, and it's called the Thora duffel bag, and here it is right here. It looks absolutely wonderful. Of course, Adam's creations are always done in Tula pink and fabric, so that makes them stand out even more. But this is a good sized duffel bag. He showed it on a video, one of his latest vlog videos, and it looks like a great bag. Lots of space inside of it, lots of pockets, a zippered pocket, and it zips up. And I have done one of Adam's patterns before, and I find them very easy to follow and very well written. So this might be a project you'll want to get into as well. And this is available on Adam's website, which is, and I'll put it in the show notes below for you for this particular project, but it's adamsews.com, and it's fairly reasonably priced. 12 euros. Euros, or is that pounds? I think that's pounds, sorry. 12 pounds works out to about $20 Canadian, which is good for a pattern of this nature. So check it out. So what have I been working on this week? Well, you've already seen pretty much what it is. I gave you that sneaky peek at the stuff we're doing for So Chatty and my new pattern in that, which is right behind me as I'm recording this. But I did do a little bit of reorganizing and cleanup as well. So, well, here's what I've been up to this past week. So what have I been working on in the past week? Well, this, that, and the other thing, and I don't feel like I got a lot accomplished, but one thing I did get accomplished was this corner in here. This is used to be where I kept my second sewing machine, but I decided, well, I'm never using it, so I'll just leave it in the travel bag, and if I need to use it for something, I can always pull it out of the travel bag. And I needed this space. This is valuable real estate here. These are my future projects, all assembled here, all organized in their baskets, all labeled. I have a list that I made, a priority project list that sits right in there. So this is where I'm going to go when I'm going to start a new project. I also have some little binders back in the back here and a big plastic basket with file folders, all labeled, of all potential projects for the future. As you can see in here, embroidery and Christmas projects and Halloween and stuff like that. So this area is all cleaned up and I feel a little bit better about it. Makes me more inspired to get some things done. Of course, I've been working on my cornered stars pattern that'll be forthcoming in another few weeks for you. I still am creating the blocks, as you can see as I move by. And yeah, more about that later. I've already talked about it today on the video, as well as talked about the Kindred creatures that we've been working on, Walter and I, for So Chatty. Of course, the newest acquisition, Rented Lips here, is my new 3D printer. And this week I intend to play with it on a more serious level. It just arrived on Saturday. So I want to learn all about how this machine works, especially the little item sitting on the top, which is called an AMS. This stands for Automatic Materials Supply. It holds 4 spools of different colors of filament, and automatically it will change the colors on whatever print I am doing. Of course, I've still got the other 4 right here, and I'm expecting a big shipment sometime this week of filaments for the new machine, because I bought their specific filaments because I've heard good things about them, and they're actually less expensive than the ones that I usually buy from Amazon. So I have to figure out what other projects I'm going to do with all the printers, especially the big one, the new one. And that's about it. I do have a quilt that still needs to be quilted. It's hanging out in the Lucy room. And that's about all I've been up to this week. I also have to do some housework around here too, do a little bit of cleaning. And that takes me to this week's review of an online quilt store. And this one is called The Cloth Castle. This week's online quilt store is called Cloth Castle, and they're located out on Vancouver Island in BC. And I have come upon this by random. I've never seen this before, so let's explore this together. Well, this is the first page, the front page, and they're giving you their winter hours because they are also a brick and mortar store. And then they're showing winter fleece, weekend sale, machine specials, sweetheart gifts in preparation for Valentine's Day, I guess. And there's also Valentine's fabrics and patterns, great gift ideas, new arrivals, quilting cottons, quilting in kits, cuddle, minky, fashion fabric, so they've got some clothing fabric too. Notions, books and patterns, home decor and utility fabric, outdoor utility fabric, and Kimberbell designs. So they've got a lot going on here. They even have craft glues and embellishment products as well. $5 a meter for quilting cottons. We may have to check that one out. And other things. So they look like they have a very extensive line of products, and they do have a product category list here off to the side that looks very extensive too. There's something else that just caught my eye, $9.99 per meter quilting cottons. So let's get into the fabric and take a look at what their regular prices are first of all. So shop, and that looks like it took us straight to the same page again that we were on. So let's go down here, quilting cottons. Okay, let's go there. Brush strokes, Gemma, Moda, Northcott. Let's check out the Northcott. Ooh, Patrick Loss. Patrick Loss. I've heard of him. $21.99 a meter. And it is in meters, I believe. Let's see. Yes, it is. Very good. So $21.99, higher end. I would expect it to be that because they are on Vancouver Island. And so for them, shipping is much more expensive because it is on the island, and which is Victoria, BC. Okay, so let's go back. And let's check, so that's Northcott. I did see Moda listed here somewhere. Let's go back again. Yes, they do have Moda. Looks like the usual lines in Moda. And, ooh, expensive, $23.99. a meter. So yeah, and for that particular line in Moda. So yeah, their prices are fairly high. So having said that, let's go back and check out these bargain ones that I saw them listing on here at like $5 a meter. Let's see if I can find that again. Let's go back one. Let's go back up here to shop. And it was here somewhere. There we go. $5 a meter. Let's see what they're offering for $5 a meter. Okay. Novelty prints, basically. But still, these would appeal to some people. And at $5 a meter, that would be okay if there's something there that grabs you. Let's go back. There was one that said $9.99 a meter. Bargain floor quilting cottons marked down. Okay, $9.99 a meter. And, well, there's some blenders in here. Again, some more novelty type fabrics. Nothing's really grabbing me. But that's not to say that polka dots might be okay. They have quite a few pages of these ones. So there might be something in here of interest, and at $9.99 a meter, that's pretty good price. Yeah, there is actually definitely some potential there. So, you know, there's lots to pick from. What else? New arrivals. Let's check out their new arrivals and see what we have here. New quilting cottons, new quilting kits, new fashion fabric. Let's check out the fashion fabric just to see what prices are like. They have 60-inch wide cotton fleece, bamboo jersey, bamboo toweling. Yeah, they actually have a very good selection. I'll have to tell Walter about this one. Price-wise, well, I guess it depends on what you're buying. Wool, $25.99, flannel, $10.99 a meter. I have no way of knowing from my own experience whether those are good prices or not. That's something I'd have to ask Walter about. And of course, that's all going to depend on the type of fabric you are buying. But at least they have that to choose from too. Okay, so what else can we check out here? Quilting kits, pre-cuts, and bundles. Let's take a look at that. Okay, Christmas kits, Halloween kits, kits for classes, quilting kits, okay. Pillowcase, flannel, throw, yeah, various prices. And I'm not seeing anything here that stands out as being, you know, a real bargain or very expensive. So in the middle of the road, which is good. Lots of pillowcase designs, things like that. Let's go back to, I saw pre-cuts. Here we go, quilting pre-cuts. They have charm packs, fat quarter, Halloween, layer cake, jelly rolls. Let's check out their charm packs. $19.99. That's not bad price. Not much to choose from in those. And jelly rolls, about the average price that you'd expect. And again, not a huge selection of these. It's okay. But most places don't have a huge selection of pre-cuts, I find. All right, what else is under shopping that we should check out? Do they have wide back? I'm not seeing a category for wide back. Anything over here on the side? No. Let's do a search for wide back. Let's see what we come up with. Basically, they came up with one. It's a Christmas one, $32.99. So, doesn't look like they have much in wide back to choose from. Maybe they get more later at times. $32.99. That's about the higher end of the scale. Not by much though. When it comes to wide back, you usually figure you're going to be paying probably anywhere from $31 a meter. Okay, so classes. And they do have classes. And quite a few. Nope, I don't want to join your mailing list. Bags, quilts, novelty items. They do have classes in clothing as well. So yeah, wide variety. These are all in-person classes, I assume. So yeah, you have to be in the area to go to one of those. Now, they say they are selling machines. So Husqvarna and Handy Quilter and Brother. So if you're looking for a Brother machine, ooh, they have a sublimation printer as well. Okay, so if you're in the line for interested in Brother machines, Husqvarna, that kind of thing, they seem to have quite a selection. No idea if these are good prices or not. That would have to do some shopping around to figure that out. What else? Books and patterns. They have sewing patterns, cross-stitch patterns, bags and purses, free digital download patterns. So they have a wide variety. Let's just see what their free patterns entail. Reading pillow, napkins. Yeah, nothing too exciting there, but they do seem to have a good selection of patterns in a variety of categories. And they have other types of fabrics, as we've already mentioned. Notions, pretty much probably the standard. Fridge trim, bag making supplies, batting. Oh, let's check out their batting. Soft and stable foam batting, Pellon, Cono fleece. They have 96-inch wide bamboo batting, $24.99 a meter. Okay. 110 wide cotton polyester blend, $27.99. That's not a terrible price. And bamboo batting. So they've got a fairly good selection of battings to choose from, and not bad prices. So, do they have a shipping listing? Let's see. Affiliate links, conditions, contest, products, information. Would it be under information? Nope, just gives their location. So I don't see anything about shipping. Contact us. Yeah, okay, so I guess I'm going to have to do a fake one to figure out how they ship things. So I am going to do that, but because in order to do that, I'd have to put in my address. I'm just going to cut out and come back to that in a second. So I put in a fake order for about 8 meters of fabric, and the price was around $40 for shipping. And it said it was 3 to 4 days or something like that. They didn't say how it was coming, but I'm assuming it's probably Canada Post. That is kind of expensive. They're shipping, and I would expect they're shipping simply because they're on Vancouver Island, that it would cost more to ship it from there. And it doesn't, they don't seem to offer free shipping over a certain amount either. So yeah, shipping is expensive. So having looked at all these different factors on here, out of 10, I'm going to give them, I think their selection is pretty good. I think their prices are just borderline on a little bit high, but not unreasonable. Shipping, though, does seem to be kind of expensive as well. But they do have a wide variety of products beyond just for quilters. So if you're a garment sewer as well, there's things here for you too. So overall, I think I will give Cloth Castle a 7.5 out of 10. So you may want to check it out, especially if you live out in Western Canada. So that brings me to the end of this episode of the Idiot Quilter. Just very advanced notice. I am working on starting my preliminary planning for the Idiot Quilter Spring 2025 retreat, which is virtual. For anybody that's new, you might not realize that, but I do throw a virtual retreat twice a year, absolutely free. I usually have a couple of guest speakers. I'm thinking of having a panel discussion. We did that on the last one. That was something new. I think I might do that again. There are prizes. There is fun. There's hilarity. We have a good time. And did I mention we have a cocktail party the night before? Yeah. So the date for that right now is, it looks like it's going to be April the 26th. Sorry, April the 26th, which is, I think, the week after Thanksgiving. The week after Easter. Easter, not Thanksgiving, Easter. So that's right now my tentative date for it. It will be a Saturday. It's an all-day affair. But don't worry about the details, because the details haven't been worked out yet. Once they are, I will be making the big announcement and talking about how you register for it. Although it's free, you do have to register. And all those good things that go along with it. So just very advanced notice, just so you might want to pencil in that date if you're interested. But more details to come over in the next month or so. Okay. So that's it for me today. I hope you have a great week. Hope to see some of you on the other videos, or that's metaphorical because I can't see you. Or better yet, on the on Stephanie, Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen. I had to think about what that was. Yes. Oh, one other thing. Pop-up sew day. I'm going to have another pop-up sew day on Saturday, February the 8th. That's 1 week from this coming Saturday. So next week, there will be in my show notes for all my videos the link for that, and I'll be talking about that more next week as well. So you might want to pencil that in as well, February the 8th for the next pop-up sew day. Okay, that's it for me. I hope you have a great week. We'll see you later. Bye for now.